Building at 1006 Surrey Street, Lafayette. Telephone 3377808149. That's Finders Keepers Home Improvement.
The Open Line Radio Show is also powered by Ice Diamonds and Treats, LLC, with frozen treats, snow cones, inflatables, play units, and event needs. Now serving the South Louisiana region. Telephone 225-276-0786. That's 225-276-0786. That's Ice Diamonds and Treats, LLC.
You are now tuned into my man, Brother Jay, and our conscious sister, bringing the people the knowledge on the Open Line Radio Show on 88.3 FM, your superstation for South Louisiana, 88.3 FM.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Open Line. I'm Brother Jay. I'll be here with my co-host, Sister Khadijah. Stay tuned and relax for the Open Line on KIEE 88.3, your superstation.
Welcome to the Open Line on KIEE 88.3, your superstation. The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers and are not necessarily those of KIEE 88.3 staff or management. Thanks for listening.
KIEE, the Louisiana Superstation, presents the community's #1 radio talk show, The Open Line, if you have an open mind.
The Open Line Radio Show. You can call us at 337-534-0036. That's 337-534-0036. For talk and information on Louisiana Superstation, KIEE 88.3 FM.
Everybody's talking, everybody's talking. The Open Line Radio Show on KIEE 88.3 FM, your community source, is coming with more information, more interviews, and more knowledge for our communities of South Louisiana and beyond. The Open Line Radio Show personalities really appreciates the callers and fans, and we hope to bring more diverse subject matters while keeping the community informed. So all in all, keep it tuned to your #1 community talk show, The Open Line Radio Show, heard exclusively on KIEE 88.3 FM, your superstation for South Louisiana, where we have our hands on the pulse of the community.
Just listen and understand where we coming from. Full grown, T-Tom, fella. I need heaven, Lord help me find my crossroad. Harsh living temptations, please cleanse my soul. We live where government barely give us assistance. To this day it still don't have existence. For instance, me telling me owner of all company business. That's when they show hate and here start their bitterness. I take their bitterness and grant myself to have greatness. Realize I have a family to raise, don't have time to be careless. Make moves, strategize, I have a plan for my life. Please, Lord, don't let me die tonight. Please, Lord, help me to keep living right. Keep my head above water, front seat on this flight. On this flight, keep my head in the sky, floating on air. Wrestling enemies, winning with figure fours like a flair. Calling all black men to stand up, have patience. Heaven help us, keep me away from Satan. Just speaking from my conscience, thoughts of a man. Politics, my decisions, accepting the consequences of my plan. That's why I rhyme, living in my prime to get ahead one day at a time. That's why I rhyme, living in my prime to get ahead one day at a time. Feel me? One day at a time. Yeah, feel me? One day at a time. Heaven help me. Heaven help me. In these times in life, help me to keep living right. One day have a wife, make a change in my life, not to be living trite. Heaven help me. In these times in life, help me to keep living right. One day have a wife, make a change in my life, not to be living trite.
Some wonder if there's a heaven up above. Why I wonder, cause God created love. No more the man could create that feeling. Not in the devil's world with all these underhanded dealings. For instance, how they did my people in New Orleans. Fell stranded for days, had them scratching and crawling. That's all we get from the powers that be. Who empowers the powers that be? Not me, might be D-E-V-I-L. Do what he say like bubbles and burning hell. I'm not better than the next man, I'm guilty of it too. I gotta keep it real cause I'm not hypocritical. If that ain't right, they won't let Bible scriptures pass. You can't do nothing in this world without cash. Heaven help me, I would love to change my ways. The money is the root to all evil and I'm trying to get paid.
Heaven help me. In these times in life, help me to keep living right. One day have a wife, make a change in my life, not to be living trite. Heaven help me. In these times in life, help me to keep living right. One day have a wife, make a change in my life, not to be living trite.
Heavenly Father, please save me, cause I'm about to go crazy. Times are hard on my soul, my heart's so cold. I'm what they call the product of a broken home. Broken dreams, broken promises, I'm all alone. I gotta find a way to make a way about the struggle. It's mind-boggling, cause the pressure's always on me. You wouldn't believe half of the things I've been through. People that turned their backs on me said I would lose. Called me a fool for fighting, but I still fought through. That's why I walk around this earth like I got nothing to lose. So Father, if you hear me, can you help me on my way? Show me, guide me where I need to be. I'm tired, Lord, I'm so tired. Can you take away the rain, bring the sunshine? I'm down on my knees, I'm begging, can you please open your gates, send heaven to help me.
Heaven help me. In these times in life, help me to keep living right. One day have a wife, make a change in my life, not to be living trite. Heaven help me. In these times in life, help me to keep living right. One day have a wife, make a change in my life, not to be living trite.
Instead, you have to take that government to the world court and accuse it of genocide and all of the other crimes that it is guilty of today.
Good morning, people. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of the Open Line Radio Show. I hope you enjoyed that. That's a blast from the past on our old show, Sister Khadijah. We used to open the Community Defender with that, and we used to open Real Talk Radio on the former KJCB 770 AM. Shout out to Off the Porch Records from back in the day. I'm pretty sure my mother would enjoy that.
Oh, yes, that's your nephew, right?
Yeah, my nephew and Thomas Spencer. Shout out to Thomas Spencer. I see you out there on social media.
Hi, Thomas.
And the young man who's deceased, one of their buddies, died at a young age, health issues. But also, Sister Khadijah, I want to acknowledge that we lost a great one, a great singer, Southern Soul singer, Miss Patricia Hatcher, better known, known as Ms. Pat. And we will be doing a tribute on Saturday on our radio show on People's Tech. And also, watch Digital Soul Showcase, Sister Khadijah. We got clips of you interviewing her. We got clips of her performing. Ma Buck, remember when you was taking pictures when you was a photographer? I don't know if you still are. You took her very first pictures out there, and Johnny Bowles out there in Four Corners. So we were all there covering that.
That's a Generate.
For KIEE.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, we were doing that promotion. Uptown Waters, Miss Pat would sadly be missed. One more, Sister Khadijah. Family member, Mr. Kevin Mitchell. I want to give you my deepest sympathy for the losing of evangelist Amanda Faye Mitchell. That's the Mr. Kevin is the pastor at Christ Encounter Church in New Iberia. A young man who always doing some great things in the community. I know it's a troubling time, but we at the Open Line Radio and your cousin, June, want to express his deepest sympathies to you and your family. Anything you need, just get at us, brother. We really appreciate you and sorry for your loss.
Yes, again, good morning. Hotep Habarigani, assalamu alaikum. How you doing out there? I am co-host or host along with Brother Jay. I'm your sister, Khadijah. And wait, you just cut me off, Jay.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. All right.
Feedback. I didn't want to give too much feedback.
Okay. All right. So, I also want to...
I missed that cut me off.
Also, want to remind people that there's Veteran Upward Bound Program, Veterans Upward Bound Program, VUB, and it's for all honorable discharge veterans. You could get in touch with Miss Linda or Megan at 337 482-5835. 337 482-5835. And all they would need would be like your DD 214. You're interested in taking some of the best classes around math, computer literacy, English, social, science. I know we did have science at one time, and music appreciation. Yes, indeed, give you the history of music and how good it is, and the teacher is fantastic. So it doesn't matter what area you come from. The classes are Mondays, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursday. And it's for like 2 to 3 hours, but it's really, really productive. It's really productive.
So, Khadijah, today our guest will be having on Attorney Daryl K. Washington,
Yes,
civil
I
rights
remember.
attorney. He hails from Opelousas, but his practice is in Dallas. Work very high profile case, and he has some things he want to discuss with the Open Line Radio Show. Again, we try to do these shows to engage in the community, especially when things are prominent in the news. You know, on last week we had the executive director from the Louisiana ACLU, Alana Odom, discussing some of those things about police brutality and where they're going with the issue of the 10 Commandments. We had a lot of feedback on that show. Some of the emails I got were some like 50-50. Some say we need prayer in school. And I was trying to explain that's not prayer in school. And some were saying, yes, we don't need government telling us who to worship or what symbols to worship,
Yes, so. yes. And as for we need prayers in school, we need to take those 10 Commandments and give this back to Jeff Landry and his colleagues, the men that are in Congress, all of them that do what they've been doing, the stealing. Then you want to blame it on your wife. Then you want to hide the different monies. They're the one that need the 10 Commandments and more than that, if you ask me. Also, I wanted to say about breast cancer. Please, it happens in majority of women, but men also get breast cancer. Also, do a check of your breast when you're taking a shower. The rate of breast cancer for Black women is unbelievable in this state of existence, and so they want you to get out the word. The leading cause of cancer death, among women in Louisiana is breast cancer. Louisiana ranked in the 4th of U.S. death rate of female breast cancer. So, to everyone, particularly the women, check yourself. Get your mammogram. There's a lot of risk factors that's involved. One of them would be alcohol, obesity, radiation, hormone replacement, increase in age, family history are inherited, and stuff like that. So you just gotta let me know when Donald. Now listen to me. When Mr. Washington is coming on, when Mr. Washington is coming on, you know.
Also, Sister Khadijah, there's Louisiana. Just another study came out. Louisiana is 6th ranked in the highest numbers of the citizens of Louisiana, especially the black community, having negative colorectal outcomes, cancer outcomes. And I briefly touched on it when I called into y'all's show with Dr. Bowles about, that's one aspect of it, the environment, our food culture. We in denial of our food cultures that contribute to those heavy rates of colorectal cancer. And we were discussing that y'all were discussing that on our show, and maybe we could get in there. 6th in the nation. 6th in the nation in colorectal cancer outcomes. So that's high. It's a high number. And people just do your study. Your food you put in your body, the way your food is digested, and your exposure and the elements and the environment is also a contributing factor.
Yes, and a lot of the hormones that they put in the food is just unbelievable. I remember going to this place and we had ordered some chicken wings, and when the chicken wings came out, them chicken wings were so huge. I mean, I'm like saying, darn, how much steroids y'all put in there with that chicken? And you eat that. Well, I didn't eat it that day, but then you eat that, and that goes into your body, goes all into your bloodstream and everything. And so what the type of chemicals that they gave to that animal is now in your body.
Yes. Also, we have to do another show, and there's, especially in New Iberia, many candidates running for office, and I know they could be putting a forum in the near future on in New Iberia. Hopefully we have some information on that when that happens, and what we're trying to do, make sure that we get the information to let the public know they should be broadcasting it on AOC soon. So hopefully in September we'll be discussing that, Sister Khadijah.
Yes, and I also want to give my deepest sympathy to Agnes Glard Antoine, her family, and everything on the loss of Agnes. We remember we all went to school together, and that's one thing. Agnes, her name was like Marie, Little Marie. Also, we have the Mitchell family on the loss of their son. The Mitchell family on the loss of their son. We want to still send out our deepest sympathy to you all. Caller, you're on. You have a question or a comment? Hello? Okay. All right. So, call back, caller. Again, to anyone that's going through trauma, that have lost their loved ones, we understand how painful it is, and that pain will never leave. You just gotta continue to believe in who you believe in, and we work with it just from that. However, okay, caller, you have a question or comment before our
Yes, I got a comment, and good morning to y'all.
Good morning. You go ahead.
I'm still on.
Yes, well, go ahead and speak.
Okay, y'all talked about cancer this morning, Cephaya, but the breast cancer rate with black women. I don't know if y'all remember this case with these 5 young black ladies that Carnation Milk was going to sponsor them to feed the babies, and all of them died of breast cancer.
Okay.
So that's another thing. Well, y'all flashing in and out. I mean, y'all program is going in and out.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
But that Carnation Milk, and Brother Jay, you talk about the food we are consuming. That's another thing that we're not understanding. The preservative that they are putting in our food is causing the cancerous tissue to come out in our bodies. And just the other day, I'm listening to Joe Biden talking about he want to give so much money to the cancer research on behalf of his son. But he won't tell the people the preservative that they're putting in the meat and our food is the one that's causing the cancer. You know, the thing that we got to understand, if we don't do our own research and studies, these people really don't care. We are the lab rats for them to test all their food and their preservatives.
Mr.
So
Kevin.
keep talking about y'all.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Kevin.
Mr. Kevin, we gonna have that segment later. We have our guests on the line.
Go ahead.
We have Attorney Daryl K. Washington, a very important issue concerning some police accountability, transparency, and maybe a taste of brutality. I don't know, but we won't hear straight from Opelousas native and Dallas practice, Attorney Daryl K. Washington. Welcome, brother, to the open line.
Hi.
Thank you, Brother Jay. I appreciate it. Glad to be here.
How you doing, Mr. Washington?
Sister Khadijah.
I am. Yes, Sister Khadijah, I'm doing great. It is so very good to talk to you again as well.
Yes. Okay.
So, Attorney Washington, what rang my bell with all the stuff going on with law enforcement, and when I start seeing these things pop up in the local news cycle about LPD, Lafayette PD, no disrespect to anyone who's a member of law enforcement, but those what you call elephant in the room situation keep popping up, and these are serious situations. You know, for instance, the case you on with the case of someone being wrongly identified. You want to fill us in on that, whatever you could talk about on that particular case?
Yes, actually, on that particular case, I represent the Kristoff family. And as you know, man, that could have been a situation that could have really turned into be deadly. I commend my clients in the manner in which they handled this case. But I will tell you, man, it's had traumatic impacts on that family, because they know that, you know, they were just perhaps seconds away from being killed, because we've seen that narrative played out around the country. And, you know, typically police officers get away with that, especially when there's any type of video footage. And you say something, Brother Jay, I mean, before I continue talking, because what happens oftentimes when we talk about these cases, people believe that we just put in all police officers in one category, and we're not. Because I've said it over and over, a great majority of police officers are good people. They are good officers. It's just the bad ones that are being protected that makes it bad for everyone. And what I've seen through my initial investigation is that there's a serious problem in Lafayette, Louisiana. This has been going on for quite some time now. What happens is people are so discouraged by the process that you have a lot of people who just take it and generally don't file complaints on it. But we plan on coming down with this particular case and being able to show the issues that have been going on far too long in this city.
You seem to think there's, in your opinion, there's a pattern of lack of transparency when you have these very serious cases. We got the case of the baby girl in a police action, and that's been prominent in the news. And we got other cases we glossed over and watched where they're not forthcoming and letting the public know. I know when you have something pending, you know all the legal ins and outs. You can't talk about certain things. But having body cam footage available to prove whether something is right or wrong, that's, you know, it's like people are complaining about that. They're calling our radio show and asking us about that. I don't know if you care to touch on that too.
Yeah, I mean, and just to talk about the baby girl who was killed, you know, I just heard about that case just recently. And it is just such a tragic situation. And, you know, what's so bad about that case, Brother Jay, is that they are trying to put the blame on that kid's death. They are trying to put the blame on Mrs. Prejean's injury on the individual who was inside the house. But when I talk to people, when I talk to witnesses, the things that I'm hearing is that the police officers actually fired their guns first. And that's what resulted in the injuries to Miss Prejean. That's what resulted in the injuries to this little girl. And so, but what we see happen is they changed that narrative, and they put all the blame and all the charges on the individual who fired his gun back in defense. they put it on him. So what it does is it's in a sense, it's deflection, because people don't look at how serious of a situation it really is. What Lafayette Police Department should have done, first of all, you have to know who's in that house. You have to know whether there are children in that house, whether there are women in that house before you even get involved in that type of situation. Because generally, if you don't, what happens is innocent people are seriously injured or killed. And that's what happened in this case right here. This little girl should not be dead. Her siblings should not be injured. And when you hear about these cases, it just really hurts, really, really bad. Now, it's just sad that, you know, that is continuing to go on.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go a little further now. And again, no offense to the audience out there. The issue with this last big case in my home parish of Iberia, with that police action having to be a part of the Lafayette PD having to be a part of the action on the SWAT, or whatever happens in the house, even the transparency on that, and it's easy for the mainstream media, and that's just an opinion, to get caught up and put it out there like that, and it's like a deflection. So I don't know if that's purposely done by the union or the PR people at Lafayette PD, but that's not a good look when the other stories coming out that it might have been a friendly fire. Now I'm on recanting something that's in the mainstream media news, and I take offense when it's something like that, because you putting the action on something else, but it's really something else. So I don't know if you have an opinion on that one also.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, what they did with that last incident, I just happen to know the family. I know the mother very well.
Right.
All right. What they did with that case is, when I initially heard from it, I'm just telling you from my perspective, being here in Dallas, I figured that it was someone other than the police officer who took Officer Jolivet's life.
Right.
And that was the narrative that they really wanted to be out there, that these officers were in the line of duty, and there was another person who took Officer Jolivet's life. All right. But when they went on, and when that investigation continued, we learned that that was not the case. So why were they so fast to put that narrative out there? They should have waited before they put that narrative, but they realized, Brother Jay, that people weren't going to just let this just go this way. People were going to have questions. They're like, that just doesn't seem right, that he was killed in that particular manner. And when you look into it more and more, we learn that they call it friendly fire. All right, that's what they want to call it. But we know that it's just the result of poor training. It's the result of having individuals with badges on who should not be police officers. It's the result of poor leadership. And Officer Jolivet should not be dead today. I mean, as much as he's a hero and he deserves to be a hero, he should be here with his wife and children.
And I visited other police websites, right, to do the research before I, post on social media, before I come on this wonderful radio platform and talk. I did my research, and every other police agency or organization out there has that young man who they accuse. Right now, he's just an accused. Have been charged with a few other things. They got him as the killer everywhere you go. So that right there is another insult to the community as far as transparency.
Correct. And that's what happens. Generally, they're going to blame him for the murder. I can assure you that. Just like with the situation with the young girl who was killed, they're going to blame the guy who was inside for the murder of that kid. When in essence, it was Lafayette police officers who took that child's life.
That's right.
And, that's the narrative that needs to be in the community. Look, Brother Jay, I say it all the time. What happened to Sandra Massey, right?
Right.
That was a very, very bad situation. And every city throughout the country did something in her honor.
Yes.
And rightfully so. But we have things that are happening in Lafayette that are just as bad, that are just as egregious, that people aren't saying anything about. There's no way that people should not be asking more questions about Why was this little girl killed? We shouldn't just accept the narrative that the person inside of the house was responsible for it. It was police officers who was responsible for that death. So what are you telling me? That they are able to kill a kid, injured
that's right,
a lady in the house, injure their siblings, and we're going to just blame it on the person inside? Police officers can just get away with it? No, that's totally unacceptable. That should not be happening. And it makes no sense that something that egregious happened in Lafayette, Louisiana, and we just really hearing about it right now, a year later.
Well, there's a lot of egregious things that have happened in Lafayette, New Iberia, St. Martinville, and a lot of people, when they find out about it, they just don't believe it. I remember I had contacted you a while back, and then you had, on the murder of my grandson, Raymond Barnett Shaheed Jr. And we found, and well, when I say we, you found out that also that because he had children by somebody else, that the mother and the father do not have any rights whatsoever. Victor White Jr., Victor White Sr., Victor White Jr. was killed by New Iberia police officer, and one of the killers' name was Ortiz, O-R-T-I-Z. And come to find out, the mother of his daughter, of his alleged daughter.
You're talking about the young man.
The young man.
Victor.
Yeah, Victor White Jr. alleged daughter. The attorney, she made a money grab and went and got in touch with the child's alleged mother to tell her, well, look, he don't want to settle, but we need to settle. And the monies were given to the attorney, got like $200 and something thousand. The little young woman got like $180 something thousand. That in itself, again, a complete travesty.
Yeah, the laws in Louisiana are just a little different. I know here in Texas, for example, parents have wrongful death claims. In Louisiana, if the deceased had a child, all right, then the mother and father have no legal rights. And I think that's horrible.
That is horrible.
That needs to change. I tell people all the time, right now, our focus is on the presidential election, rightfully so. We have to be concerned about that. But we have to be equally concerned about the elections in Louisiana. We have to be the local elections in Texas, because those are the elections that impact our daily lives. People don't realize how bad the laws are until you are faced with that particular situation. Sister Khadijah, like the situation with your
grandson
that we dealt with
my grandson.
With your family. Yes. So people don't understand that. And those are the type of laws that we need to change.
Well, one of the other things is we discussed with the executive director of the Louisiana ACLU, Alana Odom, great sister, great fighter. We discussed about the new laws in Louisiana concerning police accountability, police issues, 25 feet within a police officer, and the other one where that qualified immunity. And before you go, I'd like to get your, and I got one other question after that. I'd like to get your take on that. Attorney Washington?
I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, did you get my question about the new laws on the books in Louisiana, qualified immunity, and 25 feet within a police officers, you can get arrested?
Yeah, man, Brother Jay, I will tell you, I'm not too familiar with those laws. I have to look at that.
Right.
And next time we talk, we can talk about it. But let me give you an example of something, Brother Jay.
Okay.
I have a case right now in Hammond, Louisiana, where the Hammond police officers went in. They did a no-knock raid, right?
No-knock raid.
They entered the young man's trailer. They went directly to his bedroom. He raised up to see who it was, right? And they shot him point blank in the neck. You have to look at the video. You have to believe it. Don't believe what I'm telling you, okay? Believe the video. Lionel Jackson, I want you to look at it.
Okay.
And by the grace of God, he survives. All right. The guy who shot him, his uncle is the chief of police, Bergeron. All right. I went to Hammond, Louisiana. I uncovered the corruption that is taking place in that city. But what they did, right? They continued to harass Lionel even after he got out of the hospital. And they planted drugs. They did all sorts of things to try to clear themselves. The civil case is pending right now.
Right. Okay.
But what they have done is they're trying to make it appear as if he's this bad guy. And when they do that, Brother Jay, and I'm telling you, and I tell people this all the time, as soon as they make the victim a bad person, then all of a sudden the public doesn't care anymore.
Right.
All right. They believe, they become of that mindset, well, if he wouldn't have been out there, he wouldn't have, this wouldn't have happened. I tell people all the time, Brother Jay, and I use this as an example. I say, it's the prostitute example, right?
Right.
Just because a young lady is a prostitute or a young man is a prostitute doesn't mean that they deserve to be raped.
Right.
All right?
Right.
You can't use that example for me. So I don't care if a person had a criminal past. It does not justify a police officer going out there and using excessive or deadly force. And as a community, we have to be able to look at it that way. Because here's the thing, people don't generally care until that problem comes knocking at their door. All right. And when it comes knocking at that door, then everybody wants the support of the community. And I say all the time, the support that you want has to be the support that you give to others. And until we get into those streets, until we say enough is enough, Brother Jay, this is going to continue to happen. The city of Lafayette, all right, everybody in the surrounding area should be outraged that we have a baby girl who did not get the chance, did not have an opportunity to live a life. We should be outraged about this. We should not just be talking about this. We should be totally outraged that that baby is no longer here, and somebody should be answering to that. Somebody, if you can't answer our questions, then that person needs to be gone. But we need to know who fired those shots. Everybody, we need to know who fired those shots into that house, and we need to know the background of that person. We need to know what other incidents that officer has been involved in, because it's frustrating.
Right.
And it's only so many of us who are handling these cases, Brother Jay.
That's right.
But,
That's right.
And it's very difficult. And one of the hardest things that we deal with, and I say that I deal with, is that I don't have the ability to help everybody.
Right.
All right. But these little cases that happen in Louisiana, right, in Lafayette or Opelousas or wherever,
Liberia.
they are in New Iberia. They are as important as the cases that happen in these larger cities.
Yes.
And just because the media is not covering it does not mean it's not important.
Right. Right.
So we have to put a stop to this, because if we don't, it's just going to continue to happen. And the way you put a stop to it, Brother Jay, you don't just settle the cases, right?
Right.
Sister Khadijah, you have to bring them to trial.
That's right.
And you have to let them feel what they have done to our community. They have to truly feel, so that when another officer sees what that one officer had to go through, they're going to think second before they take the life of an innocent person. And that's what we need.
And lastly, and I know you have to go, lastly, I think Sister Khadijah got, but the police union in Lafayette and the Civil Service Board has been identified. I know, talking to the community, being a talk show host, as the problem. That police union in Lafayette, the people that train these officers, they bear a lot of responsibility for the attitude and the training issues. And how hard it is to change a police union or to change a civil service board that hires and fires these people.
And again, Brother Jay, that goes into the laws that we talked about, the local laws that we need to really look into and change in. But man, you say something so powerful. The police unions. It's not just in Lafayette. It's all over the country. All right. These police unions are so very powerful. So what happens is police chiefs are scared of unions. Right. Mayors are scared of unions. Politicians are scared of unions. You know why? Because they want to get the endorsement of these unions when they're running for an office. So they generally don't go against them as much. I mean, and I say it all the time. Where are our local politicians on these issues? When they're running for office, they're at our churches, they're in our communities, they're talking to these organizations, asking for our votes, right? Then when we have these situations, they should be leading the efforts. It shouldn't be just the local activists. They should be leading these efforts because they are the voices for their constituents. And it seems like in a lot of cases, they're working against their constituents. And we're not going to have change until all our politicians come out and say, you know what, we're not going to deal with this. We're not going to have changes until all our preachers come out. They can't just come out for the ones that are safe, all right? They come out for the ones that are safe. You got to come out for the ones that are, that are questionable as well, because the community needs us. And Brother Jay, our Black community is so very important. We are so powerful. If you look at the elections, right?
Right.
Everybody in this presidential election, the most important vote is the Black vote.
Yes.
So that should tell the community how strong we are. We have the most power, but we are asking for the least amount of things from anyone.
Yes,
I mean, if you want our votes, you're going to have to show us what you're going to do to change our communities. Because 4 years later, and we're still in the same situation that we're in.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Khadijah has
a... yes, and again, we want to thank you for continuously being the attorney that have guts. I mean, I would like to say the other word, but I don't want to get censored. And for your bravery and everything. And so you did mention that some of our laws have got to be changed in the state of Louisiana. However, Louisiana is ran by 98% of white men all the time.
That's an opinion, huh?
No, that's factual.
Fact.
That's fact. Look at the sheriff department. I mean, look at the sheriffs in the state of Louisiana. Out of 60-something, we may have maybe 2 blacks. Well, it could be like 3 black, because one you can't really tell.
Yeah, the former head of the Louisiana State Police.
And
he just got elected. He had to do a hard time to get elected in Shreveport.
That's right.
And well known too. That just shows you.
And we have this little young 11-year-old girl that's from New Iberia who was in a horrific situation where the guy, the 38-year-old man, wind up getting killed and everything, and they have her incarcerated, they have her brother incarcerated, they have the mother incarcerated, the daddy, even though the mother and the father were both in court, you know something is not right with them anyway. But I just say that to say that, if it would have been a white child, a white little girl, we wouldn't be at the level that we are. And I know for a fact that Roger Hamilton Jr. Would think twice before just letting this escalate the way it has.
Listen, Sister Khadijah and Brother Jay, we could really have this conversation forever.
Yes,
I mean, and I tell you, what's so frustrating, honestly, when I have these conversations, is that Black people have so much power. All right. We have so much power, yet we don't use our power. I even say with our athletes, right? If Landry and all these guys want to pass these racist laws and they want to do the things that they're doing in Louisiana, imagine if our Black athletes would say, we're not going to LSU. All right?
Yes.
We're not going to go there. As long as they want to do this, because they're passing those people, all right? A great majority of those people who are going to be in the stands are voting against the interests of my community. They're voting against the interests of my grandmother, my grandfather. But yet I'm going out there on Saturdays and making them millions of dollars.
Isn't that something?
We have to be able to look at that. And I know some people are going to look at it and say, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but since I was 3 years old, I wanted to play for LSU. Yeah, but I'm sorry. These people are voting against our interests.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And until they come in and say, okay, we're going to support you, We don't like the things that are going on in Louisiana. We are against qualified immunity as well because it's causing your brother or your cousin or your good friend to lose his or her lives. You know, when they give us that support, then we can work together, Brother Jay. But we have to understand that power is in the economics. All right. And one of your greatest money makers for the state of Louisiana, starting in September, is going to be in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Right. And the only way they make that money is because of us.
Yes.
It's because of us. So how are we going to allow them to hurt us with these laws, yet we continue to make millions of dollars for them? I don't understand that.
It takes education.
It confuses me.
Athletes to make them understand what state they are in first. You know, don't want to discourage them not to participate, but you know, sometimes you got to give up something. You know, I mean, with these laws, and it was said with the executive director of the ACLU that Louisiana is a dry run for Project 2025. If you hate Project 2025, well, you already living under it in the state of Louisiana.
You're already living in it, Brother Jay. And then just to show you the power that athletes have, during COVID, all right, they have been trying to take down that racist flag in the state of Mississippi for years, all right? And they have been unsuccessful. These black college athletes said, I will never play a down of football in the state of Mississippi as long as that flag is there. Guess what happened to that flag?
It's gone.
It's gone. It's gone. So, Brother Jay, Sister Khadijah, I always love being a part of you guys' show. I wish I could be calling in and we could be talking about other issues.
Well, we wish you had an office down here. We wish you had an office down here.
Well, he in the big city. That's a Grambling night. They travel all over the world.
No, you need to have an office down here.
Sister Khadijah, you never know. It could be in the near future.
All right. I will volunteer
there.
my time.
If you run across my nephew, Aaron Vallow, tell him send home, send money.
Hey, man, I talk to Aaron all the time, and Aaron is doing big things in the city, Brother Jay. He's making New Iberia, Louisiana very proud, man. I can tell you, he's a great product of New Iberia.
My brother's oldest son. Yes.
Yep.
Yes, and if you run across my brother, Robert Goins, you tell him phone home.
Look, Sister Khadijah, I love Rob. Robin and I went to college together, and that's my brother for life.
Yeah.
But I will tell Rob, because Rob got a habit of not calling for some time, so I'll let him know this.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Attorney Washington, Sister Khadijah.
Well, you sure you gotta go?
Yeah.
I wish I didn't, Sister Khadijah. I wish I didn't, but I promise you, as I told Brother Jay.
Okay, all right. Yes, sir.
I want to come back. What I would love to do one day is I want to get in the studio with you guys.
Yes, you got to.
When I come to Lafayette with this case, because I've been speaking to Jeremy Christoph, and I will tell you, that family is absolutely amazing, Brother Jay. Yes. I mean, it's a great family, and to see what they did to his family in Lafayette, man, it just really hurt my heart. And I do know that if he didn't have the mindset to do the right thing, right?
Yes. Right.
That means just back off, because he had to watch his wife being mistreated. Oh. He had to watch his son and daughter being mistreated. Do you understand how that feels as a man?
Yes.
Knowing that you are in a position, they put you in a position where you can't take care of your family.
That's right.
But he knew, Brother Jay, if he just made just one false movement, all right, they had the guns out. They were looking for a reason to shoot him. And he knew that he had to just back off in order to be able to save his life and his family life. But Brother Jay, this family has been traumatized by this. Their lives will just never be the same. And I think the city of Lafayette and Lafayette Police Department just think that it's just okay. And it's not okay. When you have video footage of a wrong, right?
Yes.
It shouldn't take you 6 months to investigate.
God.
It shouldn't take you that long, because we watch football games, Brother Jay, when they have to overturn a call in front of millions of people. What they do, they review that video, and they're able to make the proper decision in front of millions of people in less than a minute. But when we come to police officers and there's stuff on video cameras and there's video footage, it takes them months. And the reason it takes them that long, Brother Jay, because they know in Louisiana, you only have 1 year to file a lawsuit, right? So they want to stretch it out as far as that investigation out as far as possible, so that you don't have the opportunity to get the information that you need. Just like the little girl who was killed. There's no video footage. There's nothing that's been produced to the family. So it makes it very difficult. But those laws need to be changed. One of the things that we're pushing for is that if there's body cam footage, it needs to be released to the family within 48 hours. And then it needs to be released to the public within 72 hours. The purpose of having video footage and body cam footage was for transparency, not for them to hide it, because we know that if there's video footage that shows the officers in a positive light, it's going to be released immediately. If it's something that shows them in a negative light, it's going to take forever. But let somebody harm a police officer, right? And I don't ever want to see that happen.
Or they dog.
You're going to have the mayor, you're going to have the district attorney, you're going to have everybody doing press conferences saying, we're going to hold the people who did this fully accountable. But when police officers do something to the public, to citizens, we don't hear none of that. We don't hear, and that's why we continue to have these problems, because people don't believe that we playing on the level playing field. And that's why people don't have trust in police officers. But it's going to take the good police officers. It's going to take them having the courage to come forward. And when they know that something is done wrong, or if they know they're not getting proper training, if they know the policies are bad, they're going to have to come forward. And they're going to have to call it out, because they took an oath to serve and protect. And part of serving and protecting that is, if you see police officers doing wrong, then you have an obligation to also come forward and tell the public that they're doing wrong. So until that happens, I don't know how soon it's going to be before we get any meaningful change.
Attorney Washington, you have several questions, but just as the only one that you would need to answer. Ma'am, you wanted to ask the Attorney Washington something? Best attorney in the world?
Yes, Attorney Washington.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I got a question that I need to ask you. On yesterday morning, one of my friends had called, she had called 911 because she had a disturbance at her home. Okay? So the officers that came in, one of them said that, and thank God for the cameras that she had on her house. She said, I want him removed. And he said, well, we can't remove him. And he got cocky and stuff. And he said, he could kick the effing door down, and we wouldn't be able to put him in jail.
Is that Lafayette PD?
Amen.
What department, Sister Khadijah?
What? Oh, city.
Lafayette PD?
Yeah, Lafayette PD.
Okay.
And your question to Mr. Washington would be, the officer said that he could kick the effing door down. It wouldn't matter. He could do that? Is that what the question?
Yes. Okay, she said he could do that because he'd been a resident. He has the right to do that. So she asked him, if he kicked the door down, do he have a right to kill me too?
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. If he kicked the door down, do he have the right to kill her also? Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay.
First of all, that officer is acting improper, because officers are supposed to be trained to act courteous. They also supposed to be trained to de-escalate situations.
That's not here.
And what we see is they escalate situations all the time. I heard the caller say something. Luckily, they had some type of, I think, camera or whatever.
Yes.
Sadly, it's getting to this, but I would recommend everybody, especially in Lafayette, if you can go out there and get some type of doorbell system that has cameras and all that, please get it. I mean, those are not very expensive, but it gives you a sense of protection, because that's what happened in the Christoph case. Jeremy had his own video. So we were able to see exactly what happened, because we know if he didn't have the video, they were going to change the narrative. They were going to make it very different. So people need to go ahead and get cameras, because these officers are doing these type of things. They have total disrespect for citizens. And, you know, if there was no video of that situation that the caller just described, they would have had the narrative just the way they wanted. And give you an example with the Massive case, the young lady who got killed when she said, "I rebuke you."
Yes.
I guarantee you 2,000%. If there was no video, that officer would have gotten away with it.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes, indeed.
2,000%.
That tall bodybuilding officer with afraid. Yeah.
Petite lady.
Yeah, a petite lady. Yes, you are absolutely correct. Well, sir, what else you want us to know about the case? You want the courtroom to be full when you're coming down for trial?
Yeah, I just want people to continue to demand answers. We can't get excited about a case for 1 or 2 weeks and then go away. We have to start seeing these things to the very end. And again, these type of cases, because of Jeremy and his family, this was one of the best in Lafayette. When I talk to people about them, all I hear are great things about them. All right. They could have easily been hashtags. So when we see situations like this, we have to understand that this is getting closer and closer to our homes. And we have to continue to fight. Because, Brother Jay, I say this all the time. We all want a job, right?
Right.
What I do, I honestly wish I can say one day that I'm unemployed, because I no longer have to fight for civil rights issues, because our community is not really dealing with this anymore. I wish I can truly say that, Brother Jay and Sister Khadijah, but it's getting worse.
Yes.
It's getting worse. And I'm going to tell you something. This presidential election that's coming up, people better not stay home. All right? People better not believe that it's over, because there are going to be a lot of shenanigans. And I will tell you, they have already told us about Project 25. So people, 2025, it's not going to be a surprise. They have already told us. So I will say this: when Landry got into office, he got into office because people didn't go out and vote.
That's right.
All right. He got into office because we weren't talking about the election the way we're talking about this election right now. So let me tell you something. If by chance Trump lose, which I hope he does, right? Landry is going to become even worse. All right. All these governors who support Trump, they're going to start implementing the things he wants on the local level.
Exactly.
It's going to happen.
Especially voting laws, they're already doing it.
They're already doing it. So the thing about the president election, Brother Jay, is that if Donald Trump is elected, right, he has potentially at a minimum of 2 more picks to the Supreme Court. All right. He also gets to nominate these federal judges. These are the people who deal with they deal with federal laws, the Constitution, and the things that impact our lives. All right. Trump told you when he was running, he was going to have Roe versus Wade overturned.
Yes.
All right. We didn't believe that. He said it. He didn't make it any secret. So if they did that, imagine. We already see what's going on with the DEI. All right. We know that they want to get rid of affirmative action. They want to get rid of all that. The reason is Brother Jay, listen, white men understand that there are years from now, they no longer will be the majority, right?
Yes.
So they won't have that power that they've always had, right? So what do you do when you know that that's coming up? You want to change the laws. So you want to put laws in place that are going to protect you, even if you're not in power.
Right.
So those are things that we have to look at, and those are things that we have to consider. And Brother Jay and Sister Khadijah, look, You guys can keep me up here all day, but look.
Yeah, but look, I know you gotta go. But look, let me tell you this. When they done the election, Landry got in so good because of all these, Grambling had homecoming, Southern had homecoming. That for election day, that was pre-planned.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
what they do. That's what they do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have to do better. You know, when we know these things, it wouldn't have hurt either one of us to change our homecomings and say, you know what, we have to make sure that people are at the polls because this election is too very important. We just not we should not let somebody like Landry ever lead the state of Louisiana. Never.
Definitely.
God, no.
Never.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much.
Well, yeah, thank you. We really appreciate
and when you
it.
come back down here, please let us know because we want to welcome you again for the outstanding work that you're doing, sir.
Yes, sir.
Attorney Washington.
No, I really appreciate it. I love the show. I love the things, Sister Khadijah, that you and Brother Jay are doing. I mean, you guys use your platform to make a difference. And I truly commend you guys. I mean, some people have the platform and they're using their platform to promote garbage.
Yes.
You guys are using your platform to change this world. You're using your platform to change Louisiana. And I mean, I truly appreciate you guys just giving me the opportunity to come on your show and talk about these very important issues.
All right. Okay, well, thank you so much, good brother, Attorney Daryl K. Washington.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
There you go.
And not only that, Brother Jay, but right now, people need to actually know where they're voting at because they done changed the voting precinct from one area to another area. And when you go over there to vote, when you go over there to get to vote, oh, well, you don't vote here. And a lot of times people are going there like the polls close at 8 o'clock. They may have gotten off of work at 5 or 6 and they're hurrying up to try to go in and vote, get to the polls. Oh, you don't vote here no more. Well, what? Well, something was sent to you in the mail. I didn't receive it. You know, and that done happened too many times to different people. So please start finding out right now where you are voting at. What will be your precinct? You need to know that, and you need to know what you need to have to go to vote. If you don't, you need to have a Louisiana identification. If you don't have your Louisiana identification, all you have to do is just fill out a simple affidavit. And all the affidavit asks you for is your mother's maiden name, address, and they're able to find you from your mother's maiden name. So that, too, in itself is very important. Caller, you're on. You have a question or a comment. You're on. Caller, you're on.
Get ready. 2014, November the 5th. It will be the biggest blue wave you ever seen. They're going to hit. If you figure it out, you're right. If you can't figure it out, well, the blue wave will hit.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, caller.
Well, we will just roll into this section fresh off with a great interview with Attorney Daryl K. Washington, esteemed civil rights attorney. We're going to now go to Sister Joanna, if I'm pronouncing it right. She is the mother of the young baby girl who was killed in a police action by the Lafayette PD last year. She's going to fill us in on her details. Hopefully, we could get some answers from her, but we don't have all the answers now, and that's the reason she's advocating for this very beautiful young baby girl. Good morning.
And again,
we're on with Sister Khadijah.
You have our deepest sympathy. Oh, you have our deepest sympathy. I mean, I took pictures and everything, and whatever you need us to do, please, from the airwaves to being on TV, just let us know.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I will. And I appreciate y'all for even giving me some time. I'm sorry that I couldn't make it up there in person, but
That's
here
fine.
I am. I'm always available, and I'm glad that you guys are also available just to hear what I have to say. so I could try to obtain some justice for my baby, because at the end of the day, bottom line, it doesn't matter the narrative that's being pushed. It doesn't matter what he say, she say. We can squash all that if the body cam footage gets released.
Right.
As a mother, after over a year of dealing with something, having no answers, clueless, I'm having to grieve, I'm having to work. This is not fair to me at all. It's not fair to her what happened. It's not fair to my son, who is autistic.
Mm-hmm.
My son already has a disability. So being that he was dealt this hand, unfortunately, we have to deal with another disability on top of that.
Well, you want to give us the listening audience who might not have known, if you, a lot of people,
Okay.
a little background on what happened that day, whatever you could talk to under any legal constrictions you might have, whatever you could talk about.
Yes, sir. Okay, yes, sir. That's fine. As we've said from the beginning, we have had nothing to hide. My silence, or what people think may have interpreted as silence, was just me trying to let my lawyer work, because we did have a lawyer. So I will start off by saying that. Um, I do have a GoFundMe also.
Yes.
That it entails that we are trying to still find legal representation, and we are in hopes of, you know, getting the funds so a lawyer will be more inclined to take our case. What may be it. So basically, the night it happened, it was a situation. It was a domestic violence situation between my brother, I, and his girlfriend, Diamond Lee. So at the time, this had been like a constant thing going on between them. But it was something that, like I said, it was constant. So, it didn't really go nowhere. Like, it was just a bunch of stuff where they would get into it. She would call the cops. It was just like that. She called the cops all the time. So the night when the cops came, yes, my brother did put his hands on me. That is true. But I removed myself from the situation. We were all outside, and something transpired with a pair of shoes. I have a TikTok. You guys can go watch it. I know we're on crunch time, so I'm gonna just be brief with that. I do have a TikTok about it that entails more details. But long story short, it was a domestic violence call, a domestic violence incident that ended in multiple shots being fired. My baby girl being hit in the head and in the arm. My son being shot in the hand. My aunt being shot multiple times, and the suspect, my brother, being shot multiple times. So, bottom line is, a domestic violence call should have never ended in a massacre. I have video pinned to my Facebook, the top of my Facebook page, and it shows it's very graphic. And like I said in the comments of that, this is my reality. This is what I have to live with. I have to look at pictures of my little girl and see all that blood, see all those bullet holes, and I have to relive that. And I could never be in her shoes. I would be terrified. So imagine, as a baby, you don't know what's going on, and all of a sudden, like the coroner said, she was here and then she was gone. That's hurtful.
Yes, it is.
That's hurtful. Bottom line is, a domestic violence call between two people who constantly do this should not have ended in a bloodbath.
Yes, I saw some brief footage of the after scene, and it was blood on the wall and
everywhere.
Yes, sir, everywhere. Yes, sir.
And that was, from your opinion, if you could talk about it legally, that was from police fire. Did they discharge their weapons multiple times, or
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And what?
Yes, sir.
I mean, and how did they justify this?
It's not justified. They're saying that my brother is charged with it. My brother is indicted for it. And from what I know, lawfully, even if something is under investigation, if you have a part of an investigation, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you have a part of an investigation that's still ongoing, but it's a separate, I guess, charge. So if you're not investigating Casey's murder because you have indicted him for that, can we see the proof of where his bullet hit Casey, the ballistics report, the coroner's report? All I have is a death certificate for my baby.
Yeah, and the coroner ruled that the baby died of gunshot wounds caused
Multiple
by
gunshot wounds to the head, and a gunshot wound to the arm.
Wow.
Homicide is on her death certificate. It
Okay.
says homicide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, law enforcement, did they meet with you and offer you any type of counseling or the DA office or anything?
No, sir. I've not been offered any type of counseling. The only type of counseling that was offered to me was from the Rescue You group. They actually donated some money to Casey's funeral, which we are grateful for. They offered me grief therapy, and basically that's it. I haven't been reached out to. Kind of like we were forgotten about. Kind of like it was like, okay, this happened, whatever. And that's not whatever to me. I carried this little girl for 9 months. I had a C-section. I felt when they pulled my baby out of my body. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? I felt when they pulled my baby out of my body.
Well,
and y'all gonna take that from me and not give me an answer or an explanation as to why? I never had contact with the officers. I never had contact with anybody but my brother. That happened. Yes, that did happen. But hey, it was going to calm down. You know, that's in my mind. It's going to calm down. The cops are going to come and they're going to leave because that's what they always do. That was my thought process. I would have never thought that was going to happen because my children were in a safe space.
Let me ask you.
It was made unsafe. My kids were asleep. But if you look at the video, where they were asleep on the mattress had no blood on it. So I'm going to assume that there's no blood. There were no babies on there. My babies were up walking. There is no way that you could not have seen those kids or nothing that y'all could have done in a different way to get my kids out of that house, and y'all knew they were in there.
Yes, what I'm saying. When police responded to whatever the call was, did they ask how many individuals in the house and the ages or anything like that? I know they have to do quick thinking, supposedly, but
my sister was in direct contact with the 3 officers that were at the door. She said upon her arrival, when she arrived, she introduced herself. She said she was a resident of the home, and she said she understood the situation, but there are kids in the house.
Right.
And to that which they responded back the F up.
Really?
Really.
Wow.
No, not really. That's part of their language. That's how they do that. They're so disrespectful, and it doesn't matter.
As a side note, you got to remember, a lot of these cops and people should do the research. Go get trained by an outside agency of ex-cops who were fired or demoted, went and started, called street cops. If you ever talk to an officer and say, did you take the street cop course? And that's the attitude of these what they call the training of these street cops organizations around the country. So I'm just want to say that was a side note on that. But
absolutely.
But let me say this: in the aftermath, were there any arrests besides the young man?
No, sir. There were no arrests. The cops actually received top cop awards.
What?
Well,
yes,
that's believable.
And this information is public record as well. I would like for you to just go and read what they said happened, what was their account. Because they said that they evacuated the kids from the house. How can you evacuate the kids from the house? My baby is dead. No mention of my dead baby. No mention of my son being shot. No mention of innocent civilian being shot, my aunt. No mention of that. But according to the National Police Association, they're heroes.
Yeah, that's what they did in the other case. I was talking to Attorney Washington about they put out false narratives all over the country and under police blogs all over the country. So there's a tendency to put it in the ecosystem of social media, their narrative all the time. Let me say this.
And the narrative is not true.
Right.
You know,
right.
the bottom line is, as a mother, an active mother, a mother who knew my baby, I know my baby top to bottom, head to foot. That's something I created, and that's someone that I love. I didn't choose to deal with this grief. I didn't choose to deal with this pain. But the choice that I have now is to stand up for my child, be the voice that my son doesn't have, the voice that she doesn't have anymore. And just, I'm not out to get anybody. I don't have a vendetta against anybody. But bottom line is, a baby is dead. There's no heroes in this.
Yes. Yes.
Everybody has taken a loss, whether it's a loss of integrity, whether it may be loss of a job, whether it may be loss of peace, because I lost a lot. But I know that my gain, the angel that I have, the blessings that I have been receiving, has been outstanding.
Now, I'm understanding you is that you did have an attorney, and you're looking for another attorney to help that attorney, or the attorney just quit?
Okay, so we had Ben Crump. Mr. Crump wound up dropping us on 2 weeks before the statute of limitations. Now, I knew that he wasn't getting any information because he was passing that along. But from what he said, it was the lack of information that he was receiving that he couldn't move forward with anything. So right now on my end, I also want people to understand that this is about the criminal side. Of course it is.
Right.
But my lawsuit and everything else is more towards the civil side. So we can obtain that footage, and we need the ballistics. We need the coroner's report. We need all those things so we can determine whether, well, what happened, whose bullet killed Casey, and who could be charged, who should be charged properly with her murder.
And given, and this would set off a red flag, and I know you, sister, you stand ahead of it. The recent case with the SWAT action in Iberia Parish would make everybody start taking a second look at the issue with your case. That
Yes,
should.
sir.
That's automatic.
That's
Should
what I
let
thought.
them do that too also,
That's what I thought. That's really what I thought. I thought when it happened, I said, okay. And then, everything started leaking out. Everything started getting out. I'm like, this is the case that's going to break through Casey's case, because they'll need to investigate. They're going to investigate this one. You'll need to release stuff for my baby too.
Right. And even in our discussion, and it's my opinion with Attorney Washington, that the way they let mainstream media milk it for the sympathy, and again, we salute that officer, but they milk that in a propaganda type way, and I usually read local mainstream media all the time.
A disrespectful type way. That is disgusting, and distasteful towards a 19-month-old baby.
Yes.
That is disgusting.
Yes.
That is very disrespectful to my baby. Very disrespectful.
And again, what would you say in the public realm to the listening audience of KIEE 88.3 about what can we do to help generate interest, support, help with your case, those who want to help?
First, we got to hit the ground running on social media. Social media is very important. Shares are important. My Facebook is public. Anything is able to share, available to share. If you have a few words, hashtag justice for Casey with the number 4. My Facebook is J-O space Christina, CHRISTINA. It'll be a picture of Casey in a little yellow and polka dot onesie.
Oh, yes.
So beautiful. Also, as mentioned, we do have a GoFundMe. The GoFundMe link was pinned at the top of my profile, but I will tell people that the video that is pinned is very graphic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to go to my page, I just will say that. I'm sorry about that, but it is my reality. Like I said,
Yes.
it's what I have to live with, what my children had to endure. Um,
Yeah.
and the GoFundMe, I will put it in my bio on my Facebook as well. Um, and if there's anybody with any information, we're just really trying to obtain a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
I did the footwork. I'm doing all the footwork right now. I got it. Well, I'm trying to.
And you
know,
filed
I'm
that,
trying to do what I can.
and you and the baby's father, y'all filed that on the deadline, right?
Yes, sir. We sure did.
Wow.
We did.
Yeah.
Only God.
Yes. Yes.
Only God, because we couldn't let it go. And a lot of people say, "Oh well, y'all want money." We ask patiently for the truth. We've been sitting, waiting, being good little boys and girls,
Right.
like y'all think we are, but we're women and men who are adults and who are parents. But we were following what we thought you guys wanted us to do, which was on a straight and narrow. Do what the lawyer says. Don't do anything extra. And for 12 months, we did that.
Yes, yes, and that's very understandable, and that's very commendable.
Yes, sir.
Very commendable. And to be at the scene, Sister Khadijah, to lose a baby girl and be at the scene, that I don't know. I can imagine that pain because
I know.
I didn't heard.
I actually got a neighbor to transport me to the hospital. There were no EMTs on the scene.
Man,
there
that
were
is
no
so
EMTs
hard.
on the scene.
How did the baby get to the hospital?
What's her
My
name?
little boy.
Yes.
My little boy. His name is Kaisen.
And your little girl.
And
what's her name?
Casey Giselle Cyprian.
Oh man.
Now she was removed from the scene, or she was transported.
Yes, sir. She was removed from the scene. My sister said someone all in green. I'm not sure what uniform that is. I don't want to put out anything false. But a man in a green uniform removed her. They got her in a vehicle and they went to the hospital in a vehicle that was not an EMT to render medical care. In addition to that, may I also add?
Yes.
May I also add that they waited to get the warrant. They knew that there was carnage in the house. There were victims in the house. I'm sure they knew. They waited to get a warrant to get everybody out of the house. So my thing is, if my aunt lay there bleeding, no medical attention. My baby lay there dead. If she had any life left in her, it was gone. Because by the time y'all got the warrant, that's when y'all decided to do everything. But it really took for my baby niece, Raina, to come to the door and cry for them to actually come in the house and start removing victims.
Wow, it's just unbelievable.
So Casey, if Casey had any chance, if she had a breath left in her, so be it, God. There was no help to get another one.
And again, we want to offer you the airways whenever you need it, and when you're here, we'll try to do something on the local AOC station.
Yeah. I rarely frequent Lafayette. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not a place that I like to be.
We could remote you into. We could bring you remotely into video,
okay.
Whatever. We'll get you where you fit in.
He's like, nope, you're gonna.
I don't blame you. I
this.
do not blame you.
Yeah, like my baby was born in Houston. My baby is a Texas baby. Like that's not even where she was from. So that's not even.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't matter the demographic. It shouldn't have happened.
That's right. That's right. And we out there. If there's a lawyer that still have any type of guts.
Stop it! Don't you say that word.
To try and
backbone.
Backbone. That'd be the right word.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's the
I'm the mama. A backbone.
Yes, that's right.
Please.
Yes.
Because listen, I'm only one person, and as tough as I think I am, and as I'm only a human being, and there's only so much that I can do. There's only so much that so many phone calls one person can make, so much time there is in the day. And listen, it's never about anything when it comes to Casey. But if we can employ that help and get the legal people, the people who know the laws, the people who are like versed in everything,
license,
you know,
yeah.
We need that.
Yes.
We need that because that'll really, get us taken seriously.
And when questioned on this very radio station on Mr. June Andrews show that comes on at 1 on every Friday on this same station, Mayor President Blanco Boulay, I asked her the question in a call about police transparency in the sense that we need to, and I know she's not necessarily a part of it, but the choice of police chief as her call, and that police chief has control in the way certain officers, are engaged with the community. And I know the police union has a lot of power in Lafayette, and they seem to control every aspect of police work around the country and in Lafayette. And so, just to make the mayor president understand that these situations, lack of transparency is one of the main problems at the top of the pyramid. Even with the situation with your baby girl, not being forthcoming and cooperating and trying to alleviate your stress and alleviate your concern and even just the basic justice for your daughter.
Right. And the thing is, Mayor Boulay had reached out to me in February.
Right.
But like I told her, I'm under a lawyer. It's so much that I could say. But just know that it's not what you're reading. It's not the narrative that's being pushed.
Right.
So I would just like, if you could reach out to me, then why just reach out to me now? I would love to have a conversation with her. I would love to speak to her because as a civilian, it's my law and it's my duty to be able to ask questions to leaders of our community.
Yes, especially when it concerns life and death issues. Yes.
Especially when it concerns life and death issues, when it concerns a child and when it concerns a disabled child. My child has autism. My son is autistic. And to be dealt that hand and his finger is paralyzed, like, this is not okay. I still have questions that I will have to answer him. He still has surgeries that he has to have. I haven't received a day of therapy.
Wow.
And your telephone number, if someone or you wanted to go through, if someone is looking,
if you want to make it public,
yes. If you have the number, then that's fine. Okay. But if somebody wanted to reach out, they would go through you, Brother Jay.
Well, not necessarily me, but if she wanted, you have a designated place to reach you.
Not right now, but I can update it on my Facebook. I'll make an email, strictly for stuff like that, and I'll post that email publicly.
And send it to us too, and we'll get it out on the airwaves. So I didn't want to publicize.
Yes.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll have to make a separate one so I could, it could receive messages and stuff.
In the case of this, it's a sensitive, very sensitive, and you got situations where we know organizations and situations exact revenge on the people,
Right.
Yes. And I still, I'm still lost in a sense where how's that friendly fire when indeed you killed someone,
Right.
You killed you're a murderer. You actually killed someone and attempted to kill others.
Not properly being trained.
Not properly being trained.
And then
exactly.
You got to ask when officers go into the nice gated community in Youngsville, are they nice over there, or when they're on the north side of Lafayette, they're a little bit different. You never know.
You could bet your bottom dollar.
And you want to know something?
Yes.
This is very scary. I will be the first to say that this is a scary task.
Yes.
This is a scary thing to deal with.
Yes.
This is terrifying. But even knowing that, I still have to have a backbone for my daughter and my son.
Well,
You know, this is not easy.
Well, you know, the global perspective, now that your story is out, much more prominent, the global perspective will have your back. I know I've always, and Sister Khadijah and I have been speaking out about injustices since way before the Gina 6, and especially Sister Khadijah. And
yes, sir.
When you got to be out front and straight up with those issues you're talking about and be persistent, consistent.
Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir.
The fight is a global fight. It's an eternal fight to get justice in this country.
I mean, being black, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Well,
that's so hurtful, you know, because it's like, okay, there's babies in the house, whatever.
Yeah.
Like nobody as a parent, as a human, stops to think, what can a baby do to harm me? Let's get these kids out of here. Let's get these civilians out of here, because there's 5. Okay, so Casey, Kyson, Raina, my brother. That's 5 people, right? 4 of these people are innocent. So the 4 people that are innocent versus the 1 person that y'all saying is not innocent, their lives are worth his life too? Or does no life matter?
That's right. No black life matter.
Right.
But yes. Again, you said if anybody want to get in touch with you, all they have to do is go to your page.
Yes, ma'am. Everything is public. I've no issue with, you know, posting my baby every day and posting my GoFundMe every day, because it'll get out there, and Casey's story will get out there, because I feel like it should have been more media coverage.
Yes,
and I feel like CNN should have been called us. I feel like that, but hey, one step at a time, one day at a time, 1 minute at a time. I'm still grieving.
Well, hopefully we have you hooked up on Carl Nelson's show out there in Washington, D.C., the TV One people, Radio One.
Radio One.
Yeah, I appreciate them always supporting and giving us show ideas. So hopefully we hook you up on that.
That's awesome. That will be great. The more the better.
Yes.
The more the better.
And there's
reach out
to Brother Rashad Ritchie, also the Young Turks Network, and WAOK out there in Atlanta. Shout out to him too. Great people.
Yes. Again, our deepest sympathy to you and the family and to the entire world, because we lost a jewel of a child. We lost our jewel. Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you so much, Sister Joanna. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all so much. Like I said, for a platform to speaking about my baby, I just want justice for Casey. Justice for Casey. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, my sister. All right.
Yeah, very deep, Sister Khadijah. This is what we want to be, how we want to be on this platform, to help inform the community and help bring about justice. Probably going to get a little angry text I get every now and then from some upholder of injustice, but that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, it definitely is okay. Sometimes we get angry things from people that we know real good, and relatives and stuff like that, and it don't deter us worth a lick. All right, so we are signing out. You're gonna listen to Brother Herbert with the hot reggae. You have something else?
Yes. Look for the tribute to Miss Pat this weekend on either the People's Tech on over here Saturday at 9. Hopefully we could get some people to talk about Miss Pat. Rest in peace, and also a special video footage on Digital Soul Showcase this coming Sunday. Thank you guys so much.
This 920